the universe will start to put people, events, situations, and circumstances in your life to potentially move you closer to your goal. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. You just need to know what you want.
Hi, baby, hop in the Lamborghini. I'm needy, on me only, I'm needy. Hi, baby, hop in the Lamborghini. Left for a minute, I did not sweat it. Look at the cash I spent it. There it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stroke of Success podcast here. Individual I'm with right now, I'm Matt. I met Matt at a business function years ago. I've been following him on social media, Instagram. We DM back and forth here and there. He's very nice enough to always answer back. Busy guy, young individual. What got me about Matt was that he was so focused. He's always been focused. He's young, I think we all can tell, but he's an entrepreneur. He's making a name for himself. And I said, who would be a better guest to have him on the podcast? Matt, thank you for joining us today on a Stroke of Success podcast. How you been, buddy?
Amazing, KB. Amazing. Thank you for having me. Very, very excited to be here. Just kind of provide some value, provide some insight, kind of have a really nice conversation with you and bring some value to the viewers.
That's all I want, Matt. I want to just provide value to my viewers and listeners and share your story. Matt, where are you from? Where are you born and raised?
From Detroit, Michigan. So born and raised there, 21 years. Was normal going to school, college athlete, but I was just exposed to entrepreneurship at age 18 years old. So, Michigan for 21 years. Then I started, traveling and relocating. And now I reside in Miami for the past 4 years.
4 years. Okay. So you were a one-time photographer?
In creative. Yeah, just always around just creative media and just different facets.
And you worked for different type of entrepreneurs, consult them in different projects, right? Correct. Okay.
Exactly.
So let's go back. How was it being raised and brought up in Michigan?
Cold. Absolutely cold, but I was not special, right? Now maybe you go on my Instagram and maybe see some things, or you see how I present myself, how I move, but that's not how I started. Started in Michigan, very normal upbringing. Like I said, was going to school, pursuing a degree, pursuing a job. That was my programming. That's where I lived mentally. Was very athletic, so I was able to get into college athletics a little bit, which also was good for the mindset. But when I got a hold of this information, I was like, wow, there's more. I had to make a decision. At 19 years old, I really had to make a decision in what way I wanted to go. And I chose entrepreneurship. And, fast forward 10 years later, we're continually growing on a day-to-day basis. So that's kind of the short answer.
Your parents were the entrepreneurs?
No, nope, just regular employee.
Middle class?
Yep, middle class upbringing.
Okay. You had the basic needs given to you. Roof, sheltered, food, everything. Heat. Okay, so Michigan, grown in Michigan, brought up in Michigan, and then you decided to leave to Florida at what age?
Before that, no, I went to Arizona for a year, 2 years, lived in LA for a year. Came down to Miami, and I started working from home, so I had the privilege, I had the luxury of kind of choosing where I wanted to live. And bro, Michigan, the Midwest, cold winter, I did that for 21 years, and I said no more, right? So I go to Arizona, super hot. I go to LA, warm climate, and Miami now. So yeah, been here for a bit.
How's LA for you? Your experience?
No, I'm not nope.
Why not? Expand on that. Nicest way possible.
I heard this from somebody who was born and raised in LA when I lived there, and it lived with me ever since. They said LA is full of nobodies trying to be somebodies.
Wow.
And I'm not going to say that applies to everybody. I don't want to that generic thing. That's kind of too generalized. But with the influencer, with the YouTube, with my following, I'm verified, you're not, that whole facade, if you will. I feel like LA is just a lot of fluff. There are great people there. I mean, I have a lot of great friends in LA, but I mean, you want to talk about taxes? No, thank you. You want to talk about,
the mask mandate?
It was just not it, right? And yeah, exactly. The mask mandate was very aggressive out there. And I really like Florida. I like the tax benefits here. I like a lot of the things that the governor kind of stands for. So that kind of is why I migrated here. But no, LA, Los Angeles, I think, the drug scene for me is just too aggressive out there. I feel like it's just a very negative and heavy energy place. And it's just not for me.
Interesting. Okay. So again, you've been a creative individual from day one, pretty much. Well, the later part of your life. Okay. Did you know as a young kid you want to be an entrepreneur?
No. You always want, you see the cars, you see the lifestyle, and you always say, wow, I want that. But I didn't know how. I had no vehicle. I wasn't going to, in my mind, I'm going to go make a Facebook app. You have to be a super genius to be a billionaire. But the desire was there, but the how was, I'm going to school. I don't know how this is going to happen.
So how did everything unfold for you?
Got introduced to business and entrepreneurship at 18, network marketing, and I was at a convention. So still involved in the media aspect of a convention. So I was providing value in media for that. And the guest speaker for the convention just so happened to be Bob Proctor. I knew nothing of him. I knew nothing of The Secret. I mean, I was beyond unconscious incompetent. It was so far off my radar screen. And when I first met him, I didn't even meet him. He walked by and I knew nothing, right? It was just an elderly man with white hair. I had no idea. And the guy who I was with was like, that's Bob Proctor. And I go, who's that? So I did my due diligence, started doing some research, but he had seen some of the work that I had done for the event and was very impressed and was like, who did all this? And they're like, oh, well, Matt and this other guy did this. So he was like, let me talk with them. So, 2 weeks later, I get flown out to Toronto to do his Matrix event. And, 4 years later, I had an amazing 4-year run with him. So yeah, I was at a networking event and he saw some of the work I had done and asked me to work with him.
So you worked for Bob Proctor? 4
years.
Well, so I'm going to unpack that for 1 second to my listeners, viewers. For y'all that don't know Bob Proctor, y'all need to get a life pretty much. You have to go on Google. He's probably one of the greatest men of the last probably generation. Would you agree, Matt?
I said one of the greatest minds. I have an Instagram. One of the greatest minds ever.
Yes.
Ever.
So what did Bob Proctor do? So we'll go back quickly. Law of Attraction, The Secret, the book that came out about 10 years, 15 years ago. 2006. He was one of the authors / host of the video movie. One of the biggest advocates for it, right? What you see in your mind, what you visualize, repetition, do it over and over again in your mind, affirmation, all this stuff, subconscious imprinting will then come manifest in your reality, right? All that philosophy, the name for that philosophy, I'm forgetting. It's called New Age something. Okay, anyway, this philosophy, it's not a religion. Was that New Age thinking?
New Age thinking.
It's not a religion, right, Matt? I mean, like, I think
it's a movement. It's just a movement of awareness. It's a movement of just consciousness strengthening.
Absolutely. And so, and I know Bob Proctor he was dear to many people. Matt, before I get to Bob Proctor, what do you think about that? That people say, well, I believe in God. I should ask for God directly. Law of attraction say no. You ask in the universe. You ever thought about that whole thing with religion? And are you religious, by the way?
Yes. I grew up Catholic. I was raised Catholic, baptized. That is my background. After being exposed to the information that I have been exposed to on the level that I have, what I say to that is I believe in a higher power. Religions call it what different things, call it God, call it Allah, call it, each religion has a different belief. I won't go into it, but I believe in a higher power.
Me too.
So I will leave it. Call it God, call it imagination, call it universe.
Universe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Leave that to the viewer to decide.
Okay. So the whole thing about co-creating your reality, that's interesting. Some people say, well, no, man, you're not co-creating. God is putting you in, God is controlling your reality. I don't agree to that 100%. I subscribe to the other one. You co-create. Of course, I put the intention, the work out there, and then God will come.
The more you study this, get into some really good authors.
Sure.
They reference the Bible, every book. I mean, some of the best books that I study to this day, they have complete Bible verses and they reference that. So it's not this or that. It's not, I believe this and you believe that. It's just maybe the wording is a little bit different, or how it's conveyed is a little bit different, but the concept still remains the same. So again, call it what you want, call it the viewers, you all can kind of call it what you want. I have my belief. And that's just through study, you kind of develop your perception and your belief on things.
What name some of the authors you're talking about? You have off the top of your head, I'm sure.
Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard is likely one of the best authors. Thomas Trower, Genevieve Barant. Those are
the top. Those
are some really.
So Bob Proctor, how was he as a person?
Exactly how he is on YouTube. Exactly how he is. What you see is what you get. He was the most walk it like you talk it, down to earth, amazing individual, amazing.
No character, right? For the screen, for the gram, for YouTube. No, who he is behind stage, he's upstage, right? On stage. It's interesting.
He was like that. He was very, very like that.
You probably met a lot of people in the network marketing world, right? That industry is crazy. A lot of money. A lot of like Ed Milet speaking those, right? Grant Cardone. You met any of these people personally?
All of them. Yep, I met Ed Milet a couple months ago. Grant Cardone, known him for years, and been down in Miami. Done a lot of collaborative work with them. So networks, yeah, absolutely. Networking has been such a powerful benefit for me.
Are you in network marketing working at all? Nothing. Okay. You're just a consultant, you said the word. How do I describe what you do? Consultant?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, people coming to me with, I have this idea and I have resources, processes, things that I can reference, suggest, and
move around.
I facilitate business. I connect deals. It's just through working with Bob, through working with these high-level individuals, your Rolodex gets pretty vast, and you start to have, I got a guy for that, I have a person for that. So I didn't want to box myself into just one industry, right? I kind of wanted to just be adaptable. Something may come up. Okay, I have the skill set in the network to provide value in this industry. So I just keep it consultant.
Interesting. And you work for yourself?
I work for myself.
Wow. How old are you, Matt? For my
27.
Young, man. You're ahead of the game. You probably hear that quite a bit, huh, Matt?
I've been hearing that since 18.
But you probably want to say like, hey, I'm sure many people. I meet people all the time. I met a multi-millionaire that's selling solar, 23 years old. I mean, this whole thing that you have to be 35, 40, like myself with gray hair to make multi-millions, that's wrong. It's a fallacy, right?
In today's day and age, that is completely false. It's just a limiting belief, right? That's something that you somebody suggested that idea and you just accept that as true, and that becomes your belief system. And it's just a false narrative. It really is in today's day and age, unfortunately.
What do your parents think of you?
Oh, proud beyond belief. They were my biggest support system. They were my biggest cheering section, if you will. First person to buy my book type of deal. So they support everything. It's kind of hard not to when, I'm 19, 20 years old, traveling the world with Bob Proctor. I've traveled over 40 countries now, have friends all over the world, have done business all over the world. Like, the results start to speak for themselves, right? It's not things that I say or things that I type or talk about. It's like, I've lived it. I am living it. It's not a fantasy anymore.
Yeah. Give us an example of how this new age movement thinking, one story, because, hey, KB, like this age, I was thinking about this, that, and it came around this age, 5 years, 3 years, car, opportunity, a person to talk to, maybe a person, whatever, something you manifested, you were thinking about. Of course, whatever we think, it always gets manifested, good or bad, but example for the audience. I'm a big proponent of law of attraction, man.
Yeah, put me on the spot. Probably the biggest intention, I would say it's like conscious creation, right? The biggest time where I sat here and I was like, I'm going to set the desire for this, and I consciously attracted exactly this. I learned this from KT. KT is Kevin Trudeau, who I also studied for a long time. He has in his audio series, he talked about manifesting butterflies, and him and his friend would sit there and that's what their thing would be, manifesting butterflies, and talk about how the process of one person would visualize 5, the other person had 15. And it was just an amazing concept of that. So I started here thinking, okay, I'm going to start consciously creating. And one of them was flying private, right? Everybody likes traveling, but flying commercial, going through the airport, baggage claim, crammed on a seat. I realized I don't like that. I
Yeah.
realized that's not for me. So I created this thing. Anytime, I still do this today. I just flew home 19 hours from Germany this past weekend. I did this firsthand. And you sit there and you just visualize you're on a jet, you're not on commercial. You visualize the window, you visualize the table, you visualize the stewardess bringing you drinks. And, I may be on a commercial plane, but in my mind, I am on a private plane. And I had done this so many times that I attracted an abundance amount of times flying private. I went on multiple tours, everything private jets. And it was like, wow, I went from visualizing this to every flight that I have been on has been a private plane. And that was just like a firsthand experience of this is what I want, visualizing aspects to create it, and then the physical manifestation over and over and over and over again to just confirm that, yes, you just attracted exactly what you wanted.
Insane how it works. I have a bunch of stories of my own. I'll share it some other time. Matt, what's your routine, man? Like, so, and try to share your daily manifestation practices, techniques, what you do, like, plus what time you wake up in the morning. Do you early riser, late riser? Do you do journaling? What do you do? What's your daily routine?
Yeah, I set the day early. I go to bed early so I can wake up early. Again, a lot of this stuff, if people have studied me, have been kind of following me for a while, like this is exactly what I learned from Bob Proctor. Like these are words that he has spoken to me and I've absorbed them and implemented them. So I go to bed early so I can wake up early. When I wake up, I get up, right? I don't sit there and just lay in bed and do nothing for an hour or 2 hours. No, like I start my day. I have a routine now because I needed some balance. I was very work driven, very focused, and I would start working 6 a.m., 9 p.m. I would be doing 12, 14-hour work days, but it wasn't sustainable. So now I really started to implement a little self-care. I do some personal stuff in the morning, go for walks, just get active in the morning and not just go right to my desk and just work, which I did that for years. I believe everybody has seasons and stuff. So now I'm kind of, in a season, but in the morning, I love enjoying, I'm in Miami, so I enjoy the beach. I enjoy, the sunrises. I'm very active in the mornings. I play golf in the mornings. So that's very, very key. After that, the biggest thing with people is, you have to have a goal, and there's different ways to go about it, but I do things to focus on my goal. That's it. I do things that cause me to focus on my goal. It's not like I do it every single day. I do certain things every single day, but some people sometimes get too caught up in I have to wake up at this time and do this at 6:15, and at 6:17 I'm doing this, and at 6:23 I'm doing this, and it's not sustainable. It's not really normal. Again, do that for a season. I did that for a season to create the habit, but now I feel like I'm at a time where I'm a little more strategic with what I need. I'm very receptive to how I feel. So I don't really have a clean routine every single day. I know the priorities I have to do. And if I'm off track, I know how to get back on track.
Do you get off track often?
No, but I do get off track. I'm human.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer. How do you, so let's just say you want to manifest $5 million, right? What practices a person should do every day? Habits that should they do to manifest it? It's a broad summary.
Sure. And this is, if people are not used to this information, you're naturally going to reject this idea because we naturally reject things we don't understand. So it's okay. Maybe you're going to have this barrier to what I'm going to say, but understand that is something called your paradigm, which is something that's probably holding you back. So there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. People don't know this, but the actual book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, which, went popular, was based on The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. So that book really gives technical processes of how to do it. And one of them is writing down your goal. So to answer your question, how do you attract $5 million? Step one is get a goal card, get a piece of paper. I'm sure I have it here. Of course I do. This is my goal card. Bob Proctor gave me this, and he's the one that taught me about this. So you have your goal. And if I was doing that, I would write a goal saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $5 million per year, year over year. I'm so happy and grateful now that my business has done $5 million in profit in 2023. I'm so happy and grateful. That is my goal. So now what's step two? Write it on a goal card. Write it on your mirror. Write it in it doesn't matter. What I would do is I would saturate my mind with that. Because why? We get what we think about most of the time. So if I can saturate my mind, the background of my computer, the background of my phone, if I can get myself to just my goal. I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth, my goal. I'm putting clothes on, I'm looking in my closet, my goal. I'm on my computer, I'm seeing my goal. I'm looking at my phone, I'm seeing my goal. If you can saturate your mind with your goal, we get what we think about most of the time. So by doing this, this is how it happens. The universe will start to put people, events, situations, and circumstances in your life to potentially move you closer to your goal. What does that mean? That means that if you're saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $5 million per year, you may run into somebody in an Uber, you may be out to dinner, you may be at the grocery store, and you strike a conversation that leads to, oh, my cousin is the CEO of this or this or this. And you said, no way, I was trying to get in contact with somebody from there. Can you get me on an interview with them? Oh, no problem. And you bring it together and you do business and you do $2 million. Then the universe brings you another and you sit there and you don't know how. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. You just need to know what you want. And then the universe will bring you a conversation, an Uber driver, a waiter, doesn't matter. Things will start happening in your life to bring you closer to your goal. That's how it happens.
That's it. Are you familiar with the word reticular activating system, RAS?
Reticular activation system. Yes.
How does that work? It's a part of our brain, right? They say or mind.
Activates cells of recognitions in your brain. From what I understand from what Bob would teach is that would be what this is. This would be a trigger. And by touching this, it activates cells of recognition in your brain that you start to associate this physically with the manifestation of your goal. Or, other things, a journal. Let's say you have a journal and you write out your goal every single day. Because you do that so many times, that journal becomes a trigger. Let's say you write in a blue pen, the same pen every day. That pen becomes a trigger because we have these, like you said, these cells of recognition in our brain that we start to associate certain things with your goal.
Amazing. Nailed it, man. Nailed it. And you start seeing those things more often, right? So it's like, I want to get a red Lamborghini, right? Yours. And boom, you go downstairs and Lamborghinis start popping up. Bal Harbor, Aventura, South Beach, Brickell, right?
That's it. You know it.
And it comes around. Amazing. Matt, you have a book, huh?
I do. It is out. It's actually right here. I have the physical copy here. Very proud of it. I've been put a lot of effort into it, and it came out really, really good. A lot of great feedback has been presented so far. So it's the start of many. A lot of good stuff coming.
What's it about?
The fifth basic. Have you studied KT, Kevin Trudeau?
Yes, I have.
So what's the fifth basic?
I didn't study the whole thing, but I've heard of his lectures and stuff.
So he teaches your wish is your command, which is, the 4 basics of success. The first one is who do you listen to? The second one is the training balance scale. The third one is, second one is teachability index. Third one is training balance scale. And the fourth one is the 4 levels of learning. But there's a fifth one. And people say, well, what's the fifth basic? The fifth basic is master the 4 basics. So this book really is about the basics, right? It's about, there's no magic sauce. There's no magic potion. There's no magic script. There's no magical thing.
Anything. Yeah.
You want to get good at anything, basketball, presenting, sales, solar, Does it matter? It's repetition. It's mastering your basics in your industry. So this really breaks it down into the basics of success.
Beautiful. It's all by you, written all by you.
Yep.
Look at you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. When did you release it?
Pre-release, I think a month ago, officially maybe a week ago, available as of a week ago.
Awesome. I'm gonna order one for myself. Order two. Give it to another friend. Matt, how do you stay focused, man? Good looking guy, Miami, rich, got everything going for yourself. A lot of partying, nightclub. You have Poppy Steakhouse down the road. Beautiful girls all around. How do you stay focused, man?
Thankfully, I got all of that out of my system early. So again, I'm normal. But I was able to experience that at a very young age, and kind of get out of my system. So I don't drink. I haven't drank alcohol in over 3 years. I don't really party. Maybe I'll go out for New Year's or a birthday or some specific reason. But you just don't put yourself in those situations. Like, I've been there. I kind of know the expectation. If I go here, I kind of know what I'm going to spend. I kind of know what the night's going to look like. So I'm really disciplined with my time. I'm really disciplined with my energy. I know that if I go out at 12, 1 a.m., I'm out till 2 a.m., I'm going to spend a couple $1,000s. I'm going to be tired. I'm not going to be up the next day. And it's just like, I don't drink. It's just not really for me. So I've limited distractions. I've learned to say no because, I'm in Miami. Hey, let's go on this boat. Hey, come out to dinner. Hey, we're going out tonight. Yes, the temptations are there, but I'm really focused. Like, I know what it is I want. I know the responsibilities I have. I know the accountability that I have to other people. And if I'm sitting here just kind of bullshitting, doing whatever, oh, life's so great, but I'm not where I want to be, or, my family's not where I want them to be. I don't have that settled feeling in my mind. So I'm 27, but I'm still, goal setting and achieving. I know what it is that I want and I'm going after it. So I just cut the distractions out.
Any plans to get married, have kids?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in a relationship for a year. Absolutely one of the best things that has happened to me personally. So that is something I now feel comfortable with speaking on, because I've seen the negative effects of a bad relationship and I've seen the positive benefits of an amazing relationship, which I think is maybe something we can talk about on a separate call, but very, very important, and has helped me stay focused on what it is that I want.
That's awesome. Do you offer coaching to people?
I do, but my time is very, very valuable. So if the price is right, of course, 100%. Now I'm expanding, right? The book was step one. I have 2 video programs that will be coming out, one on goal setting and achieving, absolutely fantastic 12 video series that will be coming out soon. And I have another one as well. And then, again, the next step from there, like you said, would be private mentorship, would be, I want more access to you. I want you to help me with my business specifically, with my questions specifically. So yeah, people have come to me. I've given them a price and they have not moved forward. So I offer it. Yes.
Okay, good. How about keynote speaking?
Yeah. I'm again getting more into that. I'm getting asked, I did some keynotes in Europe, spoke a few times. So definitely something going to be expanding more into.
Where we will see Matt in 5 years from now?
It's a great question. Europe. Be traveling the world. I won't be in the United States. Probably the book's going to go crazy. I know when people start to really get into it, it may be a lot for people because it's just not normal information. It's not stuff that you just hear on the podcast or on a guru or, in on social media. Like, this is not normal information. So most people are not really going to understand it the first time they read it. But if they stick with it and they start staying consistent with it, they're going to start to see some results. And after that happens, I feel like the popularity of this is going to go crazy. People are going to say, wow, I want more. What else is there? Like, wait, this is different. Then I'll have the programs. Then I'll have, so I do see that future speaking, doing this podcast, giving value, mentorship programs and beyond.
Beautiful. Good stuff, man. I'm so proud of you, man. I've seen your journey, man, on social media. I've been following you for now 5 years. You're doing amazing work, man. Awesome work. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so most of my I mean, really, it's just I'm on Instagram, Facebook, the usual. That's the main communication. Starting to populate the YouTube. I have many calls like this that I've been doing. I'm recording this, so a lot of these calls, a lot of this value will be archived as well on YouTube. But just going to be consistent. I would say Instagram will be the number one place to get updates with things happening.
Beautiful. Well, Matt, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you, but you're a good man. I texted Matt last week. He's like, let's do it this week. And you're a man of your word. God bless you, brother. We'll see you
My
soon.
guy, thank you so much for the
We'll
time,
be in
bro.
touch.
Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt.